Twitter gives Alex Jones the boot. The social networking site permanently banning he and his media company, InfoWars.
Investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles.
It has a map that seems pizza related. And another one is Obama spent $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago. Are we using the same channels?
So why is it right to encourage leaking of secret information?
Yeah, well, there's a question as to what sort of information is important in the world. What sort of information can achieve reform? And there's a lot of information. So information that organizations are spending economic effort into concealing.
A new report from Johns Hopkins says more than 4,000 times a year, surgeons are making mistakes in the operating room that should never happen and can be stopped now.
And surgical mistakes, like the one that happened to Lonnie Sowell. They operated on the wrong knee.
Mr. Armstrong, I do realize that when you were on the moon, you had very little time for gazing upwards. But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon? The sun, the earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false.
It preserved his body and put it on display. Lenin is more alive than the living, declared one Soviet slogan. A whole scientific institute was set up to maintain the corpse. Over time, it's had to replace some skin and flesh with plastics and other material.
Because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go, exactly.
Cuban dictator Fidel Castro, who died late last night. The announcement was made by his brother Raul, who is now president of Cuba. Fidel was 90 years old and had been in declining health for a decade. A cause of death was not announced.
It's the biggest meteor in more than a century to hit the planet. This one crashed in Russia. 1,000 people were injured from shards of flying glass and debris.
The chaos of the meteor was captured on cell phones and on dashboard cameras of cars, so popular here in Russia. The blast was so powerful it knocked down a wall at this factory. In all, over 1,200 people were injured, mostly from broken glass. 3,000 buildings damaged, over 1 million square feet of glass shattered.
The first was the country's infamous former president, Saddam Hussein. The video of his December 30th, 2006 execution was widely circulated, prompting the Bush administration to criticize Iraqi officials for their handling of the execution. In the tape, executioners can be heard taunting the former dictator.
It's the answer spoken by young and old, rich and poor, Democrat and Republican, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, disabled and not disabled. Americans who sent a message to the world that we have never been just a collection of individuals or a collection of red states and blue states. We are and always will be the United States of America.
Director Hoover to strike at the heart of Nazi espionage by sending agents into South America. FBI responsibility for internal security was expanded to an international operation. Hitler's dreams of empire included South America. Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and eastern Bolivia would become a part of the new Germany.
Liberty Island in New York City is being evacuated now because of a person trying to climb
the Statue of Liberty.
At one point, holding up a huge sign that said, "Abolish ICE." It was a total of 8 people. 7 of those people are already under arrest.